Hey going everyone, this is the Outcast Cave. We're going to be doing all of our Age of Sigmar content here. So this is where we're going to be doing all of our talking. I've got my notes up on the screen, I've got my little microphone here. It seems to be calming having it here, so don't judge me. So what we're going to be doing is a series. So we're going to be doing a 2000 point from every Battletome. And we're going to sample each Battletome, a list from each one. We're not going to go through the whole book. We're just going to pick something we like, we're going to go with it, and then that's going to show us a little bit of what it's going to be like to verse that army. So we're going to, in 2000 points, you need a leader and 3 battle line. So that's considered attacks, apart from the leader's not really attacks, but anyway. So we'll start off with our Legions of Nagash for the very first Battletome, and we'll just kick it straight off. So we'll start off with 3 units of 5 direwolves. So direwolves are 60 points for a group of 5, and they have a 10-inch movement with 2 wounds each and a 5-up save. They have a better save than skeletons, but less bodies. So skeletons are traditionally what death players would take, but direwolves are a lot faster. So they have a 10-inch movement rather than a 4-inch movement. So I find you can get onto objectives much faster, and if you're forced to put them in the backfield to cover against maybe Stormcast dropping in or some sort of deep strike with like Ghoul Patrol or something like that, you can just block them off, stop them from coming in, and then because they have the 10-inch movement, they can get back to the front lines a lot easier. So because they're a summonable unit, you can also bring them back with grave sites and the built-in abilities of most of the heroes in the Allegiance of Nagash army. So it's Deathly Invocations is the name of it. So skeletons are a good choice, but they have more attacks, but direwolves I find are cheap, and they're just a better option if you're gonna go minimum battle line, so you can fit in more units. So we'll put that up there. Oh, wrong direction. So up there. So we'll keep a tally of everything we've got so far. So we're spending 180 points on our battle line. So the next squad we're going to get is a squad of 30 Chromecast Reapers. So everyone hates these guys, like just absolutely hates them. And it's both hilarious and frightening because they're going to get nerfed. Sorry about that. So the reason why they're hated so much is they have an 8-inch movement. That's not it. They fly, but they have a 4-up save and they ignore rend completely. So if you have rend 2, they just don't care. You take a 4-up forever. And there's 10 of them for 140 points each. So we're spending 360 points to get 30 because of the massive regiments bonus. So 30 of them rocking around because they're a summonable unit. You can then bring them back into the squad. So ignoring rend on the 4-up save, it's pretty good, and then bringing guys back on top of that, it just turns them terrifying. So but there's more to them. So if you're attacking a squad that has 5 or more models, then they get to reroll hits. So they have a 2-inch reach, 2 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, but they have neg 1 range as well. So if you combine all these together, they do fairly well by themselves, and then your enemy gets rid of half of them, and then you bring them all back. So there's an excellent squad. So we'll put that up there. So that's another 360 points, and there's summonable as well, so you can bring guys back. So we'll spend another 320 points, and we'll get 10 Hex Wraiths. So these guys are fast. I like to refer to these guys as a sponge, because they don't do a whole lot of damage, but they do have the potential for it. So they move 12 inches, they do mortal wounds on natural 6s to hit, so they got two attacks with the rider, 2 attacks with the mount. The mount's a bit who cares, but on 6s to hit, you can do mortal wounds, so they can be thrown up against anything you like. You get 5 of them for 160 points. They have the 4-up save, and they ignore rend as well, and they have 2 wounds each. They're summonable, so you can bring guys back as well. So essentially what you're going to do with these guys is you're going to have 10 of them. They're going to rock up, and you're like, sweet, fly 12 inches, and then charge whoever you want. So they're not going to kill them. They're not going to be too amazing, but your opponent is going to hate life because they have to get rid of them somehow. And then when they're like, yes, we've almost got rid of them, and they come back to life. So they're just a squad that you can just throw against anything, soak up damage like a sponge, and then by the time they get through them, hopefully you've gotten through your other squad and your Grimghast Reapers are coming over. Because in this army, the Grimghast Reapers are the meat and bones of this army. So next up, we'll do 2 squads of Hex Harbouringers. So they're 220 points for 2, and they're 6 wounds each. So for 220 points, you're getting 12 wounds with a 4-up save. They don't ignore random though, but they charge on 3d6. So they move 9 inches, and then you can charge on 3d6. So they're quite quick. They get 3 attacks base, but because we're going to run them in Legion of Nagash, with the Grand Host Nagash, they'll have 4 attacks each. So this is the major highlight of these guys, is that not only can they charge in and get where they want to be, they have 4 attacks each, hit on 3s, wound on 3s, neg 2 rend with a flat 3 damage. So these guys can either smash through things and just wipe out entire chunks of an enemy unit, or they can wipe out the entire unit. But I find these guys are very super swingy, so that's why I take 2 units. You are spending a lot of points on these guys. It is a really large chunk of your army, but I think the potential just to do massive amounts of damage is well worth it. So we'll move on to, we'll put all them up there. We'll move on to our leaders. So we're going to take 2 Vampire Lords on horse. Lots of people like them on wings, but I'm an old school person, so I like them on horses. They'll move 10 inches on their horse, and they'll have a 4-up save. They'll have 5 wounds each. Even though they're a bit squishy, they do have a chalice that will give them a d6 wounds back once a game. So for 140 points, and the ability to get all of their wounds back potentially is just amazing. And if they kill something, they also get a wound back. So they're quite good. So the reason why you take them is for their command ability. You spend a command point, and you can give any unit, death unit within, I think, 15 inches, +1 to their attack. So this is quite good with the Grimghast Reapers, but also quite good to give potential extra punching power to your Hex Harbouringers. So they have 4 attacks each, 3s and 3s, neg 1, d3 damage. So they're not that great in combat, but they have the potential to do a lot of damage. So I have 2 of them, and then we're doing 2 Necromancers. So that the reason why I take the Necromancer is they move on foot with a 5-inch movement or 4. Doesn't really matter, they're slow as fuck. You take them for their spell. It's Van How's Dance Macabre. So what it is cast value 5. You put it on either the dogs, the Grimghast Reapers, or the Hex Wraiths, and they can be selected to attack a second time. Now that's huge for a big blob of 30 Grimghast Reapers. So you charge in, you attack once, your opponent attacks, and then you pile in and do it again. Even if you charge and only get like 5 or 6 Grimghast Reapers in, if they say they got the command ability, they have 3 attacks each, they're going to do a little bit of damage, but then the second pile in, you're going to pile in more. So you're going to get a fair chunk, even if you get a shitty charge with this spell. So it's quite good to have Necromancers to do this. You get 2 of them, because both the Vampire Lords and the Necromancers can bring guys back within a certain range, d3. So you get 2 of them, and then so just in case one of them dies, you still have access to that spell. So Necromancers have access to, so that in death there's 2 spell laws, one for Necromancers particularly, and one for vampires. So for Necromancers especially, they have 3 of the spells which are the bread and butter of the whole book. So Overwhelming Dread is cast value 5. If you get it off, it's neg 1 to hit, neg 1 to bravery. The neg to bravery is neither here nor there. It's neg to hit that is so amazing. Being able to make your opponent less likely to hit you means they're massive hammers in their army. They charge you, they come in, oh crap, I'm neg 1 to hit, so they're not going to do as much damage to you. So you can potentially live that little bit longer, getting some damage, and because their weapon's been blunted. So Fading Vigor is another one of those spells that you take. So potentially you would take both. So Overwhelming Dread and Fading Vigor. I usually do. And I find these 2 are almost indispensable. No matter what you take with Legions of Nagash, these two spells can make or break everything. They're amazing. So Fading Vigor is the unit that's cast on now charges on 1d6, but the reason why I take it is they have one less attack to all their profiles. So one less attack to all their profiles and -1 to hit means that you are substantially reducing the output of any squad that you put it on. So these two spells can make or break it. Decrepify is only useful on heroes, but it's -1 to wound, -1 to damage, and that's on every weapon they use. So that's very useful if you want to have a big, like an Eidolon or some sort of hero that you're afraid of, or you just don't want them to do much damage. You chuck that on, -1 to wound, -1 to all their damage, and you can blunt them that little bit. So 2 Necromancers up there. So the last one I would argue is the most important one of the whole army, and this is the Guardian of Souls with the Nightmare Lantern. So this guy, I only just started using this guy, and he is phenomenal. So he only has 5 wounds. He has a 4-up save and ignores rend because he's a spooky ghost. And his spell is cast value 5, but he can bring heal D6 wounds. So say get the spell off. I think it's cast value 6 or 5, one of the two. Both of them pretty easy to get. You roll a die 1d6, say you get a 4. You can either bring 4 Chromecast Reapers back, or you can bring back 2 Hex Wraiths, because Hex Wraiths have 2 runes each. So that spell is phenomenal. So say it is longer range than most of the abilities to bring guys back from the heroes, but just that flexibility to get a spell as well is really good. But the bread and butter, the sole reason you take him is Nighthawk units, so the Hex Wraiths and the Chromecast Reapers, wholly within 12 inches, which is a fairly decent area, get +1 to wound. So your Chromecast Reapers go from hitting on 4s, potentially rerolling if there's 5 or more models, wounding on 3s, they now wound on 2s. So you're adding in a lot of reliability to these Chromecast Reapers. They're already absolute monsters, and now you make it even easier to wound. So the Guardian of Souls with the Nightmare Lantern is the quintessential ultimate leader and pair to go with your Chromecast Reapers. You can not use the Necromancer, you can not put the command ability on the Vampire Lord, but just the Guardian of Souls by himself will be amazing, following behind those Chromecast Reapers. So our allegiance from the book, we're going to take Grand Host of Nagash. So what this means is you can take any of the Mortarks if you like, but if Nagash is in the army, he must be the general. So Nagash himself is quite powerful, but the main reason why is there's an ability. You can roll a 5-up on a d6. On a 5 or more, you can heal D3 to that squad. It's called Legions Innumerable, and it's really good. So it's just a free chance to get an extra gravesite, and I'll explain what they are next. Worth of healing onto any summonable unit. So that's the Direwolves, Skeletons, your Hex Wraiths, and your Chromecast Reapers. So the thing you have to remember, and lots of people forget this, and I forgot this a while ago, is that Legions Innumerable, the spell I just mentioned, cannot bring back multiple wound models. So you can't bring back Hex Wraiths with it. Even if you roll a 3 or 4, which would represent 2 wounds on a D3, you cannot bring a Hex Wraith back. So that you would use this Legion's Innumerable spell ability to heal the Hex Wraith. So then you would then use your gravesites and your abilities of your heroes to bring the model back. So it's not a massive thing, but it's quite useful. So the other bonus for Grand Host Nagash is you get +1 attack for your Morghast. So as I mentioned before, they have 3 attack space, but they get an extra 1 for being part of the Grand Host Nagash. So this makes the 220 points worth it. I would struggle to find a reason to take Morghast. outside of Grand Host, because I just find that for 220 points you really do want that extra attack. So with all of the death allegiances that have to do with Nagash, you get 4 grave sites. You must put 2 in your territory, and you can then put 2 anywhere else on the battlefield. So you can put 2 in your territory and then 2 in theirs, or 2 in yours and then 1 in yours, 1 in theirs. After you've put the 2 in yours, they can just go anywhere else. So what they do is you can pick a unit within 9 inches of the gravesite, and it heals them for D3. So it can only be used on summonable units. So again, skeletons, Graveguard, Chromecast Reapers, and your Hex Wraiths. And you can bring back models equal to that. You can't heal and bring models back. So if one of your Hex Wraiths has 1 wound taken, and you roll a 5, so there'll be 3. You can't heal that wound and then bring another model back. You have to heal that wound or bring models back. You can't do both. So that's the advantages of taking Legions of Nagash in general, and I find that in Grand Host, the extra attack on the Morghast is very useful. So one of the major things with Grand Host Nagash, the entire book, is if your general can bring back an entire destroyed squad. So say all 10 of those Hex Wraiths are destroyed, you can spend 1 command point. If your general is alive within 9 inches of any of the grave sites, you can bring all those Hex Wraiths back to life and put them 9 inches away. Make sure they're 9 inches away from the enemy as well. So you can spend 1 CP and all those Hex Wraiths are back. So it adds salt to the wound. It's very hard to get off, but if you can get a squad back, it's devastating. It can change the entire game. So I don't actually find that this works for the Hex Wraiths or the Grimghast very often, just because they have such a huge board presence. Like, there's just so many models in them. I find more often than not this ability to bring squads back is more often than not happens when you're bringing a squad of 5 direwolves back. It's not going to change the game dramatically, but just bringing that squad of 5 direwolves back can mean that you can put them on an objective at the back of the board, and then you can rush everyone else to the front, so you don't have to waste say a Vampire Lord sitting on an objective in the middle of whoop whoop. You can just go, cool, direwolves are back, ship them off to the objective, Vampire Lord or whoever can go off to the front lines and actually contribute. So that's the list for this week, and that's the list I'll be running tomorrow at a tournament. I've run this one before. It's actually quite good. So a lot of these lists that I'll be doing from now on, one from each Battletome, a lot of them I won't actually have run, but they'll be the lists that if I had the models and I had the money to invest in that Battletome, that would be the list that I would buy. So let me know in the comments what you think of this. What do you think of the Outcast Cave? Do you like it? Should I continue on with it, or is it garbage and I should just not do it? So let me know in the comments below. Give it a like, give it a dislike if you don't, bit of a shrug if you're not neither here nor there, and I will see you guys next time.